All right, in our last example, we're going to be talking about whether or not arcs in a circle are congruent. In order for us to know that, there's two theorems that I want to share with you. Number one is this congruent circles theorem. Two circles are congruent circles if and only if they have the same radius. So if there are two different circles and they have the same radius, then we can assume that both of those circles are congruent, just like this one. Notice here, AC is congruent to BD. These are both radius or radii, and if they have the same measurement, like if this was 5 meters and BD was also 5 meters, then we can assume that both of these circles are congruent, okay? Additionally, the congruent central angles theorem, in the same circle, so same circle, or in congruent circles, two minor arcs are congruent if and only if their corresponding central angles are congruent. That just means to say that, oh, if we have an angle here, like say, for example, this is 30 degrees, and this is also 30 degrees, then we can also assume that these arcs CB and DE are also congruent. So they will also be 30 degrees, okay? So let's use that into practice here. Tell whether the red arcs are congruent. So let's start off with A. So what are we noticing right away? We notice that in A, the measure of angle CBD is 80 degrees. We also notice that the measure of angle FBE is also 80 degrees. Okay, so these red arcs over here, since they share the same circle, and these are both congruent, right? 80 degrees is the same thing as 80 degrees. We can also assume that these are also 80 degrees. Therefore, we will state that arc CD is congruent. Remember, congruent means same shape, same size. Is going to be congruent to arc EF. And the reason being is because of which theorem? The congruent central angles theorem. Okay, coolness. Let's move on to B. Let me just make a line here. All right, B. Let's check out these two right over here. All right, obviously, are these two arcs going to be congruent? Congruent, remember, means same shape, same size. We can obviously tell that this is way smaller than this, and alternatively, arc TU is larger than arc RS. So what can we say here? We can just say that arc TU is not congruent to arc RS. Why? Because they are different sizes. It has the same kind of like shape to it, that same arc, right? But they're different sizes, therefore they are not congruent. All right, lastly, let's go to C. All right, so we have two separate triangles. Oh, sorry, we have two, why am I saying triangles? We have two separate circles over here. The first thing that we want to do is determine, are these two circles congruent? Well, thank goodness we already know one of these theorem again. The congruent circles theorem. Two circles are congruent circles if and only if they have the same radius. Do they have the same radius? Let's find out. There's a little indicator right over here and over here that says that TV, so segment TV is congruent to segment XZ. These radii, two radius is radii. So these are going to be congruent circles, first of all. So first of all, we know that these radii are congruent. If two radii are congruent, that means that the two circles are congruent. So we know that circles are congruent. Oops. Because of the, what is it called again? The congruent circles theorem. Because of congruent circles theorem. If two radii are congruent, then the circles are congruent as well. Cool. So now that we know that these circles are congruent, let's take a look at these angle measures. We see that this is 95, and we also see that this is 95. So if the measure of angle VTU is congruent to the measure of angle, sorry, not congruent. If it's the measure of something, then it's equal. I want to be precise here. Measure of angle y, what did I say? VTU. So if it's VTU, then I'm going to say ZXY. Always make it corresponding, right? We always learn that. If this is 95 degrees and it equals 95 degrees, then they are congruent. Therefore, what can we say? Arc UV is going to be congruent to arc. If it's UV, I'm going to say YZ, because they are both also 95 degrees. Same shape, same size. All right, that's it. Bye.